She's been here once before for 25 days, but it doesn't sound like she really did a lot while she was here. So we wanted to explain her previous trip in a bit more depth.
It's nice. It's a really nice place here. So I like it, and I met a lot of people. I guess I was just different. People knew I wasn't from here, so they were really nice to me. So I had a lot of fun.
Okay, good to know.
Hopefully it's gonna be another fun trip. And someone said I need to go and visit a place called Blue Mountain. I didn't get a chance to do it the last time I was here.
When you said you went bushwalking,
To the national park.
Okay, which national park?
I don't even remember the names. But I know we went to a national park and we, what they call bushwalking.
So when did you apply for your visa to come over here?
Wow. It was done online.
When?
For me. A while ago.
I mean, how long is a while ago?
It's probably been over 6 months.
Over 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
Or probably less. I'm not even sure. I'm not 100%
Wouldn't
sure. I
be
don't want to
6
lie to
months
you. I'm not sure at all.
You're not sure. So who applied for your visa? Did you do it yourself or
No,
somebody else?
someone did it online for me.
Do you know who this person was? Because they need to have your personal details in order to apply for you.
Yeah.
Do you know who did it?
That was Paul. Paul.
She claims that Paul is a friend, and the main reason for her last trip to Australia was to visit him. But she seems remarkably unsure about any other details.
Do you know what kind of visa you're on? Like tourist visa, employment visa?
Is there any way you can look it up? I'm not sure. I didn't apply for it. I gave Paul all my information. And I'm not even sure what type of visa he applied for me.
So he did it for you again this time?
Yeah. No, not this time.
The woman explains that this trip is not to visit Paul, but another man named Peter. But when questioned further, she knows very little about him, including where he actually lives.
I don't know. I don't really know the difference yet. I'm still learning.
Okay,
The difference
between...
of the different neighborhoods in Sydney. Sydney is different than, Melbourne. And, yeah, I'm still learning.
But usually what people do is when they go to another country, they go on the internet, they find out, okay, this is the city I want to go to, this is all the things I want to look at, I can stay there. And Sydney is different from Melbourne.
Yeah.
And how far away they're from each other.
See, last time I had someone to drive me everywhere. I was dropped off at places. I never really knew, oh, this is such and such neighborhood, or this is a certain different part of a neighborhood. I just never really knew. I went to even the malls.
With things not quite adding up, a swab is taken of the lining of her suitcase to check for any traces of narcotics.
Some things I did alone, and I just had, the rides drop me off because I was scared to drive over here because it's different than back home.
Officers strongly suspect this passenger has something to hide, and this test may help in finding out exactly what it is. Morning rush is on at Melbourne International Airport, and biosecurity officer Rob has already stopped a mother and son who have arrived from China. During a bag search, he has located one of the world's most expensive food products. It's a box containing Chinese bird's nest, which is made from the saliva of a swift.
It is quite pricey, we believe. It's dried up bird saliva, and with avian influenza, it's a high-risk material for us, so it's strictly prohibited. Just concerned that they'd failed to declare it. We gave them ample opportunity to do so, they still failed to do.
But the search of the rest of their bags comes to a dramatic halt when biosecurity officers realise that there is something sewn into the pocket of a coat.
So you're going to get bird's nest off them?
Suddenly, this becomes a case for Australian Border Force to deal with.
I stopped as soon as I detected, asked what was inside the lining of the jacket. Yes, I stopped it right there and then. Just very fidgety.
Excuse me, don't touch.
When the pocket is pulled open, officers get a big surprise.
Ah, here we go.
I'm not really a big pants person.
You like your skirts?
Yeah, I've always been like a little girly girl. They wore skirts and dresses.
This American woman is on her second trip to Australia in less than 6 months and says she is here to visit her friend Peter and go sightseeing. But Australian Border Force officers are not convinced that this is all she is here to do.
You don't have this bag x-rayed?
They suspect she is hiding something, but a swab test from the lining of her suitcase fails to find any traces of narcotics.
My shoes.
Thank you. I actually got them from here the last time I was here.
As the search continues, the X-ray of her case gets the all clear. But then Officer Atisma locates a document which indicates why the woman may really be here.
She doesn't. Now she suddenly remembers, oh, I have to go to Perth. I didn't know.
We can finish the bag search. There's some items in the bag search that aren't really consistent with a stated reason for travel. We found this letter that indicates that there may be a little bit more to this than a general passenger on holidays. So she hasn't got a ticket to Perth?
No.
So what's the plan? She comes to you, calls someone, and they organise everything?
That's right.
The letter, which is addressed Hello Slave, implies that the woman may be a professional sex worker who's here for an arranged encounter with a man in Perth for the next 7 days, where she's agreed to be his submissive.
Right. Was she here last time for that as well?
Did you engage in any of this last time?
Say that again?
Were you here for this reason last time as well?
Not for that specific reason, but I did see somebody 2 days when I was here, yeah.
You did? Mm-hmm. Okay. Did you receive money for that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
And that was my spending money at the time I was
Okay,
here.
how much money did you receive?
About $800.
Okay. How much are you going to receive for this?
I don't know, I have no clue yet.
Okay, but you're going to get paid.
Probably so. Probably just spending money, dinner, if I want to go shopping, they'll take me out sightseeing. Everything. Like if I don't want to stay with them, they'll put me up in a hotel for a few days. They'll make sure I get back to the airport safe. All those things. They're just really nice.
And why didn't you tell me all of this before you were making all that story
you didn't really ask me details or
I was asking you a lot of details.
Just gonna have fun, basically.
As I was asking you before, all I want is you to be honest with me.
I'm sorry, I didn't know that was a big deal.
No, I just want to know what
I've
you were doing
I've been
before
here
and what you're doing now.
I didn't have this
And this
problem.
is obviously not what you told me you were doing.
No, because I'm here to have fun. This is just a plus.
Okay.
If she is being paid for the encounter described in the letter, it is a serious breach of the no-work condition of her tourist visa.
So from here, we're going to refer her to some of our colleagues who are going to investigate a bit more into her visa conditions and whether she's going to comply with her visa status.
Let's go, please.
Convinced that the woman is not being entirely honest, she will now be taken away for further investigation so that officers can work out what is really going on. This American woman says she is here for a 2-week holiday, but a search of her baggage has revealed a letter which describes in detail an encounter that she will have with a man for the next 7 days.
Are you warm enough?
No, not really.
Okay, how about you pop that on?
Yeah, I'm just making do.
Okay.
She is travelling on a tourist visa which has a strict no-work condition. So Officer Alicia will conduct a formal interview to determine if she is coming here as a professional sex worker.
Do you have citizenship or permanent residence in any other country besides the US?
No.
Have you ever been known by any other names?
Diamond.
And what do you do back in your home country?
I'm home nurse.
A home nurse. Okay, so do you know anyone in Australia?
Yes.
Who?
Paul. Peter.
Who's Paul?
She tells Officer Alicia her last trip to Australia was spent with Paul.
Florence.
But this time she will be staying with a different man named Peter.
So what's the nature of your relationship with Peter?
We're friends.
Okay, is there a romantic relationship there?
No.
Not at all? Okay. You were here last time for how long?
Like 20 days or 20-something days. I don't remember exactly how many days. I know it was like 20-something.
And what did you do in those 20 days?
I walked the bridge. Have we seen the, oh gosh, now I can't even think. They done asked me these questions so many times. It's like,
Which bridge was that?
do you guys, oh my gosh, and I just can't think. Like, I've been asked these questions 4, 5, 6 times, and I'm exhausted. I haven't slept in over 24 hours.
Okay.
What are the landmarks? Oh gosh. Every time I say it, everyone else knew, but.
So what does the bridge look like, or the landmarks that you have seen?
What is the, oh gosh, I hate this. I'm just really going blank.
What, is there any particular colour that the bridge is, or is there anything
really
that's
huge.
standing?
It's just huge. And I walked it, and we had to walk back, and it took like 30 minutes, an hour. What is the name? No, you know it.
Was there anything surrounding the bridge?
What's the one bridge everybody come here to visit, to see?
But was it what were the surroundings like around the bridge?
Everything here looks the same. It's not my hometown. Everything looks the same. Trees and water and
Yeah. Was it over a road, the bridge, or?
I can't remember, so let's just skip that question.
This passenger is going to have to do a lot better if she wants to convince Officer Alicia that she is a genuine tourist here just for a holiday.
The other stuff can go back.
Australian Border Force is inspecting a coat belonging to a Chinese mother and her son that appears to have a concealment sewn into the pocket.
Ah, there we go.
$10,000 of concealed cash is found. And that might not be all, as the other pocket also feels like it has a similar amount of cash.
So how much is that?
10,000 here and 10,000 here.
Yeah.
Why is it in here?
Any cash over $10,000 must be declared, and they now face the prospect of losing it all.
There'll be no money in these bags if I look?
No.
Oh my God.
The search continues, and it soon seems that cash and bird's nest are not the only things that they should have declared.
So you got a carton of cigarettes?
Cigarettes.
Do you have any more cigarettes anyway?
Yes.
How many more?
The same as that one. Why do you need to clear these? 50 grams.
50 grams.
How much have you got here?
I don't
Got
know.
nearly 600 grams there. Not 50, there's 600. So you won't be getting any of these today at all.
Can I go to the toilet now?
When the man is escorted to the toilet,
What's in these pockets?
Officer Steve notices something in his pockets.
I want you to put all out of your pockets. Go and put it back on the bench.
In Melbourne, Australian Border Force has already located $20,000 in undeclared cash concealed inside a Chinese woman's coat.
I asked you to put all out of your pockets. Go and put it back on the bench.
And now her son has produced another $20,000 from one of his pockets.
He requested to go to the toilet. We weren't going to take him to the toilet unless he'd actually emptied all his pockets out. And it wasn't until, he actually produced another $20,000 out of his jacket pocket. But yeah, it went from, $20,000 undeclared to pretty much $40,000 undeclared currency. Why didn't you declare it? What were you going to do with this in the toilet? You weren't going to flush it.
No.
No. I've just called the Australian Federal Police. They're on their way and they will have a talk to you.
The Australian Federal Police arrive and the pair are taken to a private room.
Just leave it out there. They don't need that in there.
If it's determined the money is the proceeds of crime or money laundering, the $40,000 will be confiscated. Australian Border Force officers are interviewing this American woman named Serita to determine if she is a legitimate tourist. There are concerns that a letter found during a baggage search may indicate she is here as a professional sex worker.
I'd like to speak to you about this letter that was found in your baggage. Are you aware of the contents of this letter?
I haven't really read it all, so I don't really know the details or anything until I talk to my friends here.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you to read that letter now. Thank you.
Addressed Hello Slave, the letter goes into great detail of a mutually agreed encounter that she will have with a man named Michael in Perth for the next 7 days.
Okay.
It tells her what to wear and what she must say as his submissive when she meets him, and it is signed Master.
Okay, so can you explain it?
There's not much to explain. What this is saying is that I'm going to meet with a friend, Michael, tomorrow. And like, we're going to have dinner and we're going to do some touristy things and yeah.
Is that all that letter says in your...
I mean, it says a lot more, but I mean...
Yeah,
you didn't...
So I'm going to spell it out to you in black and white. It's basically, it appears that it looks like it's some
50 Shades
job
of Grey.
situation, yes.
50 Shades of Grey, I'm embarrassed.
Don't be embarrassed. Look, we see everything all the time. Nothing really shocks us, trust me, all right?
I'm so embarrassed.
So is that the nature of your relationship with Michael?
Well, we're going to meet and socialize first.
Okay, so have you met Michael before?
Only through, phone.
Okay, so you've not physically met Michael before?
Officer Alicia is not concerned with what the woman does privately whilst she's here. Her only concern is if she's getting paid for it.
So I'm going to ask you straight out, is this, did they pay you for any exchange of sexual favours or anything like that? No.
After finding prohibited bird's nest inside the bags of a Chinese mother and son, biosecurity located something sewn into a coat pocket. Australian Border Force became involved and found $20,000 concealed inside.
Why didn't you declare it?
Plus another $20,000 in the son's pockets. And if the Australian Federal Police decide that the money is from the proceeds of crime or money laundering, they'll possibly face losing it all.
I think they've done some further checks to say they're not of interest to anyone else for any other reason, because they seem like fairly legitimate sort of travellers. I just think they've made a grave mistake by not declaring the money that they've got.
Even though the money is legitimate, they will be fined $850. But that might not be their only penalty. Biosecurity need to deal with the issue of their prohibited and expensive bird's nest that they failed to declare.
So I asked you whether or not you had any food to declare. You said no. Why didn't you declare this?
We forgot.
You forgot?
Too many bags. We cannot remember everything inside.
So it's bird's nest, okay? It's not permitted to come in. So today, we'll be looking at giving you on-the-spot fine to $340. Will you be paying that by cash or card, okay?
As well as the $1,190 in fines and the loss of the bird's nest that is estimated to be worth around $650, the pair have also lost several $100s of undeclared and excess tobacco products.
So both passengers are leaving today a little bit lighter in their pocket than what they should have been. And all they had to do was declare. They still wouldn't have got their bird's nest, but at the end of the day, they should have just declared and they wouldn't have copped that fine.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you to read that letter now. Thank you.
This American woman called Serita says she has come to Australia for a 2-week holiday and to visit her friend Peter. But she is carrying a letter from a man named Michael, which details her willingness to be his sex slave for the next 7 days.
Okay.
She was here only a few months ago, and Border Force officers suspect she is being paid for her services, which is a breach of her visa conditions. But Serita claims she will not receive any money.
Is there an agency involved or some that's, helping you to get in contact with
It strictly was just a friend situation. Like, I met him through Peter. I haven't physically met him, but you know.
You met Michael through
Peter.
So with anyone in Australia, have you had a relationship of this nature before when you've been here last?
No.
Okay.
But her claim that it's all just a bit of fun looks doubtful, as Border Force Officer Claire discovers information which suggests there may be a lot more to the woman's story.
So she's a submissive. She's all over the submissive websites in America.
Sarita may be on the next flight home, but she remains positive about the outcome.
Everyone's really nice, so I'm assuming everything's going well. I've been honest. I've been given all the information they asked, so it couldn't go any way but good.
How long have you been gone for on this occasion? 3 weeks.
At Sydney Airport, Australian Border Force officers have pulled aside this passenger to question him about his frequent trips to South America. He says it's to visit his girlfriend and young son who live in Chile.
Righto, so you're an Australian resident, you've been living here for
Permanent resident. I've been here
time.
45 years.
45 years?
I'm 47.
You don't have an Australian passport?
No.
Let's have a look for your bags.
He's travelling on a Greek passport, which indicates that after only one night in Chile, he travelled to Bolivia, and officers want to know why.
Before I got to Chile, I got a phone call from the missus. Her mum had a heart attack.
Mate, it's not good.
No, well, her mum lives in Bolivia, so...
You met her in Chile, then you both went to Bolivia. Yes. And the child?
Yeah, of course.
And with the child.
Okay. We stayed there until the mum got better, about 10, 11 days, then we come back to Chile for 10, 11 days.
Okay. Geez, that's unfortunate, mate.
No, it is, mate. It is, but she didn't die, that's the main thing, or else I would have been held.
Yep. Okay. It's good to hear.
No, it is.
Did you have a wallet?
Actually, I lost it the first day I was there.
You lost your wallet? Oh, mate, this turned out to be a pretty unlucky trip.
It was.
So what ID did you use over there?
I had just a passport.
Just use your passport. What about credit cards?
No, didn't have bank cards. I got money sent through Western Union to get me through.
Okay.
So
You went over there with
nothing.
your wallet.
With my wallet.
Yeah. You lost that. How'd you lose it?
I don't know.
Just one day it was gone.
Just one day. No, I don't know. I placed it down for a second. I'm not too sure what I did. I don't want to do something stupid.
Righto. So to receive money via Western Union, you need ID, right?
Yes.
You use your passport. And who sent that to you?
A mate of mine.
The passenger may have had a serious run of bad luck, but experienced officers are beginning to suspect that his story may be well rehearsed.
The passenger's very compliant with us. He's answering all our questions, trying to be relaxed. Seems a little bit forced. He's very helpful in answering questions, and he seems to have a story all the time.
Officers know that over-compliance is a behaviour often exhibited by drug couriers, and as his suitcase is taken to be x-rayed, suspicions are growing that this man is hiding something. They just need to work out what it is.
I'm not really a big, pants person.
You like your skirts?
Yeah, I've always been like a little girly girl. I wore skirts and dresses.
Nice shoes.
Thank you.
While searching the luggage of this American woman, Australian Border Force officers became concerned when they located a letter she was carrying. It describes in explicit detail a sexual encounter she will have with a man in Perth over the next 7 days.
We found this letter that indicates that there may be a little bit more to this than a general passenger on holidays.
Officers suspect the rendezvous described in the letter is a professional arrangement, and she may be getting paid for her services.
Did you engage in any of this last time?
Say that again?
Were you here for this reason last time as well?
Not for that specific reason, but I did see somebody 2 days when I was here, yeah.
You did? Okay. Let's go, please.
The woman has been escorted to a private interview room for further questioning. Border Force officers are trying to determine exactly what she is up to before deciding if she will be allowed to enter the country.
Have you ever been known by any other names?
Diamond.
I'd like to speak to you about this letter that was found in your baggage. So I'm going to ask you to read that letter now. Thank you.
Addressed Hello Slave, the The letter goes into great detail of a mutually agreed encounter that she will have with a man named Michael. It involves what the woman refers to as a 50 Shades of Grey situation and details her willingness to be Michael's submissive for the next 7 days and is signed Master.
So can you explain it?
There's not much to explain.
She has arrived on a tourist visa, and if she is getting paid for her services, it is a serious breach of her tourist visa conditions. But she is denying it.
Is there an agency involved or some that's, helping you to get in contact with?
This strictly was just a friend situation. Like, I met him through Peter. I haven't physically met him, but
You met Michael through
Peter.
The woman, named Serita, insists it's all a bit of fun. But Border Force Officer Claire has discovered some information that suggests there may be a lot more to her story.
Okay, so Peter is her master in Australia. So she's a submissive. She's all over the submissive websites in America. She's got a boss in America, or a pimp, she calls him Bill Gates.
Yes, I saw that in the emails.
Now, he's organised for her to come to Australia to work with Peter. And Peter has, as it says here, Peter may have a client in Australia for you to work for next week. All right? I talked to Peter. He said to contact him as soon as possible. He said, don't worry about the money. We'll put it in your account and talk to him about making this so it's not going to affect my pay. All right? So she's been subcontracted by Peter through her boss, Bill Gates. Now, her submissive name is either Blue Diamond or Black Diamond.
Okay, she said she's got a nickname by Diamond.
She has a lot of promo photography in terms of her being Blue Diamond.
Her claim that she is just here for a holiday looks increasingly dubious.
So I'm assuming he found Michael. And
He did. It sounds like it, but she's not admitting anything at this point.
No.
Now, convinced Serita is not being completely honest, officers discuss what the next step should be.
So I asked her whether she's done any of the 50 Shades work in Australia, and last time, and she stated no.
Okay, she denied it.
Yeah, she's denied it, and I've asked her whether she's done any of this type of work before, previously in America, and she said no.
Okay.
So it's all denial. Do you think that I need to confront her with the evidence that Claire has?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe so. We have found a number of text messages here. If one of those says, contact Peter first thing in the morning, he may have more clients that want to see you.
Officer Alicia will now confront the passenger with the evidence to see if she will admit what she is really doing in Australia.
Now's the time to just come clean about everything.
So at the moment you're unemployed?
No, not employed, just really low work.
This Australian resident claims he has been in Chile visiting his girlfriend and young son who live there. But officers are concerned there may be another reason for his trip to South America.
Spent one night in Chile on his way there. Spent 10 days in Bolivia to see his partner's mother who had a heart attack.
Yep.
He then returned to Chile for another 10 days and then came to Sydney.
Okay.
It's possible he may be concealing narcotics, and as his suitcase is x-rayed, Officer Matthew notices some organic matter on one side of the case that needs further investigation.
I think it's just wood. I think it's just like a panel of marble or something.
Unsure what is behind the lining, a swab is taken to check for any traces of narcotics. And as the case is returned to the bench, Officer Mitchell has a few more questions for the passenger.
Let's talk about travel a bit more and your partner. Can you sort of explain a bit further what you did while you were in Bolivia? And
I just mainly had sex with her and spent time with the kid.
You don't have any more mates in South America? Did you meet up with anyone?
Yeah, I've got friends there, yeah.
Did you meet with any of them?
I met with one person.
Okay. You didn't mention that before. Was that in Bolivia or was that in Chile?
In Chile, Santiago.
In Santiago.
I met him before in Buenos Aires, but he's from Santiago. Yeah.
Okay. He's a Chilean?
Chilean, yeah.
Okay, all right. So when did you meet him? What day was that?
Probably about 3 or 4 days before I left to come home.
Now, you lost your wallet on the first day when you arrived in Chile. So you would have also cancelled your credit cards, right?
No, they're debit visas, so they're not credit cards.
Is there a record with the bank about you cancelling your cards?
I'm not sure.
Well, if you rang up and cancelled, then it would be, right?
Probably, yeah.
Okay, no problem. And you also mentioned that a friend of yours sent you some money.
Yes.
Okay, how much was that?
About $4,000 in my name, to Western Union in my name.
Do you have a receipt for that or any documentation?
No, I haven't.
You didn't bring it back?
No.
With his story looking increasingly shaky, the results of the swab taken from the lining of his suitcase raise suspicions even further.
Pretty strong reading for cocaine from the bag. I'm going to have to delve a lot deeper with this guy.
In Sydney, Australian Border Force officers have discovered websites and text messages that indicate this American woman, Serita, may be here for more than just a holiday.
So she's a submissive. She's all over the submissive websites in America. So she's been subcontracted by Peter through her boss, Bill Gates.
Suspecting she is coming here to work in breach of her tourist visa conditions, Officer Illicit confronts the passenger with the evidence.
Sarita, we have gone through your phone extensively. We've found quite a few messages, which indicate that you are working as a sub.
This time, not here.
But I asked you if you've done that kind of work overseas.
I don't know. Maybe, yeah, I guess. If it's a friend and somebody I'm involved with, I don't think it's work.
You don't think it's work?
No, if I'm just a friend and we're experimenting with things, it's not work.
Okay. Now's the time to just come clean about everything, okay? Because you're tired, otherwise this interview process will just be drawn out. So just come clean and be honest about everything, all right? Who's Bill Gates?
That's a friend.
And all these messages with Bill Gates is basically talking about working in Australia as a sub.
Okay.
And that Peter is your contact and he is your master in Australia. Is that all correct?
He's not my master. He really is a friend though. But some of that is correct, yes.
So what part of it is correct?
Peter's a friend. And I was coming to meet somebody, possibly. And I would get the details when I got here. That's why I don't know all the details of this. They don't give you any information. Except for like the things that, that was forwarded to me.
With this admission, it appears she may not be here as a genuine tourist.
I'll read it out to you, I'll issue it, and then you'll have 10 minutes to respond.
A notice of intention to consider cancelling her visa is issued, and Serita is given 10 minutes to come up with a good reason as to why she should be allowed to enter Australia. A swab from the lining of this passenger's suitcase has just returned a strong positive result for an illegal substance.
Pretty strong reading for cocaine from the bag. We've x-rayed the bag already. There was minor anomalies, but we'll have to have a stronger look at the bag now.
1,000 Bolivianos, Chilean pesos.
The man is an Australian resident returning from 2 weeks in South America, and officers need to be sure he is not attempting to smuggle narcotics back in with him.
Did you take this bag with you, or did you buy it while you were overseas? You took it with you? Have you taken it on trips before, or is this the first time you've used it?
I've taken it before.
You've taken it before? Okay. And you bought it you're living in Sydney?
No, in Melbourne.
In Melbourne? You bought it in Melbourne?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We're just going to have a bit of a closer look at it. It'll just be 2 minutes, okay? Thanks, sir.
The bag is taken to a secure examination room, and immediately Officer Matthew notices something unusual.
Looks like it's been unscrewed. Do you know what I mean?
Or the rivet, even, rather than screws.
Yeah, we usually don't screw them in.
Believing the bag may have been tampered with, it will need to be inspected closely. While back at the bench, Officer Mitchell questions the man about the cocaine readings.
We speak to a lot of people who have returned from South America. So we get a lot of young people that go there and they use cocaine as well.
I have before used there, but on this occasion I did not use, you know. I've even told officers there before that I have used.
Okay, so you have used it before in the past?
In the past, yeah. When I've been searched here, I've told the officers straight out.
Right,
if I
but on this occasion,
none.
You haven't used?
No, did not use.
Okay, all right, no problem.
He denies having any contact with drugs during his trip, but that doesn't explain the high cocaine readings or the anomalies with his bag. Following a thorough investigation, Australian Border Force officers in Sydney are now convinced that this woman is coming here to work illegally in the sex industry. She now has a final chance to convince Officer Alicia why her tourist visa should not be cancelled.
Sarita, do you have a response to that notice of intention to consider cancelling your visa?
I don't really think that it should. I would never come over here intentionally to do something wrong. This is a beautiful place. I just think I need to be more aware of what I'm being invited to.
Failing to dispute the claim that she is not here as a genuine tourist, a final decision is made and the passenger is informed.
Okay. So, Sarita, based upon the interview and all the evidence that we have found today, I've taken your response as well into serious consideration, and a decision has been made to cancel your visa.
Okay, I understand.
You are now refused immigration clearance, and you are now being detained and will be removed from Australia as an unlawful non-citizen.
Serita may also face a 3-year exclusion period from returning to Australia.
This is crazy. I'm a good person. But that's probably how everybody feels, even the bad people. So I'm not really upset about it. Like, I still get to go home, my family, and I'll be okay. I'll survive. But this is a really beautiful place. I'm gonna be sad for a few years. I can't come here. So, yeah.
Sydney, Border Force officers are deconstructing a suitcase belonging to an Australian resident returning from South America, following strong readings from the lining for cocaine. He has denied using the drug while he was away, but officers have concerns that he may be attempting to smuggle the narcotic back in with him. But close inspection of the bag reveals there are no concealments inside.
Yeah, at the moment it's looking normal. Yeah.
The bag is returned to the passenger, but the investigation is far from over.
We took a swab of the bags and it came back positive for cocaine.
I don't know how it goes.
Okay, so usually that indicates to us that you've had some exposure to cocaine, right?
Maybe the room there, where it was, I'm not too sure.
Yeah, like, that wouldn't really explain it because, say, there's got to be some sort of touching, some sort of exposure. Just you being in a room.
Maybe my missus is my uncle's to my kid. He dabbles in now and then. That's the only way I can think of.
Maybe your uncle's to your child.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of.
Maybe they would.
Maybe because he does take now and then, and he did take some things out of my bag that I gave to him. So it's the only thing I can think of.
Okay, so you think that maybe he's come into contact with cocaine
that's the only thing I can think of.
You might have touched something that's come into your bag and then contaminated the bag?
Yeah, it's the only way.
Confident there is nothing in the case, the man is free to repack his belongings. But officers need to be sure he is not concealing anything on his body. So, with his consent, a frisk search is conducted.
As the officer said, I'm not touching your skin or anything. Cheers, mate.
Officers are now satisfied he has nothing concealed on the outside of his body. But they want to check one more thing before allowing this man to leave the airport.
We're going to consider sending you for an internal body scan. Yeah, sure. Okay. We're just going to go over there now. We'll have a bit of a chat about it, and we'll take it from there. Alrighty.
He agrees to an internal body scan, which will detect if he has swallowed any drugs. But as they head to the room where it will be conducted, things take a dramatic turn.
The guys hesitated at the doorway to the body scan room. He said, I'm not having the body scan done. It's a way of pausing, buying himself some time. He just doesn't want the body scan done at the moment. I'd say he's got something inside him, probably cocaine.
George, what we're going to do is we're just going to go into an interview room. We're going to consider sending you for an internal body scan. Okay.
Following a thorough investigation and a strong positive reading for cocaine from his suitcase, Border Force officers have taken this Australian resident for an internal body scan. But as he reaches the door, he pulls his consent. And officers are increasingly confident it's because he has swallowed narcotics. The man is taken back to a private interview room where officers will explain his options. And they have noticed a significant change in his demeanour.
He's fairly dejected. He's trying to find ways to get out of it, kind of stalling tactics. He is quite nervous. He's sweating and he doesn't want to talk to us anymore. I think now he kind of knows the game's up.
With the Australian Federal Police on standby, ready to escort him to hospital, the man finally agrees to go through with the scan. And when it's complete, officers' suspicions are confirmed.
That body scan image that we took shows the possibility of concealment. We're thinking liquid cocaine rather than solid pellets of cocaine, which are harder to pick up on the image, but there is definite anomalies in the image, which we think is positive.
The man will now be escorted to hospital by the Australian Federal Police, where a more in-depth scan will be carried out to confirm the results.
Find it.
Today, in Adelaide, Officer Amy and her detector dog Gordo are on duty. And Gordo has already shown interest in a family returning from Cambodia and indicated that this elderly woman may be concealing something illicit.
My detector dog, he showed interest to her body and nosed into her stomach area and the bag that was sitting on her stomach.
And so who pays for your grandma when you go overseas? The family, how does that, is she on a pension or pension and that covers her? Yeah.
Anyone entering Australia can be subject to screening, no matter who they are or what their circumstances. Even the elderly, as criminal syndicates have been known to prey on the most vulnerable in the community, using them to act as couriers.
And so how often do you guys go back and forth?
Yeah, yearly.
Yearly, yeah.
Officer Lily now focuses her search on the handbag that the elderly woman was carrying when the detector dog reacted to her.
And how long's your grandma been living here?
26 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A swab has been taken from the handbag, which will indicate any traces of illegal substances.
Fairly strong rating as well.
Today in Sydney, Biosecurity Officer Greg has spotted several items of possible concern in the luggage of this family arriving from the Middle East.
They haven't declared anything on their passenger cards. So what we're seeing on the X-ray, in particular, is these images here. We've also got other food in another suitcase. It could be nuts or sweets. So I'm going to get an officer to have a look.
So with question 6 and 7,
Yeah.
any grains, nuts, number 7?
No.
Anything made out of plants? Any food in the bags?
No.
Okay, we're going to open the bags and we'll have a look.
Officer Susan soon discovers packets of Middle Eastern sweets, and they contain ingredients listed on the declaration card.
You see, sir, how there's nuts? There's nuts in the sweet. You see nuts again, there's nuts. Nuts again.
And the traditional treats keep on coming.
See how there's dried flowers on top? This must be declared. It's part of a plant, it's a flower.
The family seem genuinely unaware that these simple items may be a problem, which is why they should have declared their food items so that biosecurity officers can make an informed decision.
When you came here, you could have said to us, I have food. I don't know what to fill out, but I have some type of
now
nuts.
I have food.
Now it's too late.
Why?
Because, no, it's too late. This is your responsibility because this is a legal document. You signed something that you don't know. There's 4 chances on 4 cards. Nothing. No, 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 everywhere.
I did not. I did not.
Australian Border Force has taken aside a woman who's returning to Sydney after a short trip home to Thailand.
So interview commenced at 10:01 hours.
She's requested the help of an interpreter, despite having lived in Australia on a student visa for an extended period of time for the sole purpose of studying English.
Our records show that you completed your English course last year and then you were due to start a diploma of business. So what's the reason that you returned to Thailand instead of commencing your studies?
ไม่ได้ติดต่อมาที่กลับไทยไปเพื่อจะไปดูแล
He is really sick. I went to Thailand to look after him.
What's your intention of coming into Australia today?
เข้ามาเพื่อที่จะ
I intend to come to fix up my issue about my study.
The woman explains that her language skills are still not good enough to begin her business studies and instead needs to enrol in another English course.
So do you have a confirmation of enrolment or a letter of offer from any education provider?
จดหมายไม่มีค่ะแต่ทางเอเจนต์เขาโทรไปหา
I don't have a confirmation letter.
To maintain a student visa, you need to be enrolled in a course. So if you don't have a letter of offer, it appears that you may be in breach of your visa conditions today.
Further checks of the woman's academic record are made, and what is discovered casts serious doubts on her commitment to being a legitimate student.
Actually, she's had 2 English courses cancelled by the looks of it previously, and obviously this will be her 3rd attempt.
Even more concerning is her lack of documentation confirming her current enrolment in any course, which is a strict requirement of her student visa.
So I don't know whether the agent is able to organise a letter of offer, but that's what it basically hinges on at this point.
In Adelaide, Detector Dog Gordo has reacted to this elderly woman who is returning from Cambodia with her 2 grandsons.
My detector dog nosed into her stomach area and the bag that was sitting on her stomach.
A swab test of that handbag has returned a positive result for ephedrine, a substance used in the manufacturing of methamphetamine.
Do you know why it may have come up with that reading at all? No, you don't use anything like that? No. And this bag, has this been in her possession the whole time?
Yeah.
Is this like a daily handbag that she uses?
Yeah, she takes it to the shop.
Through her grandsons, the woman is asked if she is concealing anything around her waist.
She showed me that she's got nothing here. Does she have anything else in any pockets at all?
Yeah, when I can power it. You said nothing.
Because what we may have to do to alleviate any concerns that we have is do a frisk search today on your grandmother.
With the help of her grandson, officers make sure the passenger is willing and able to stand for the frisk search.
But what I really need you to do is to read this card, to understand the card so that you can translate it to her, and she needs to understand it as well.
The woman agrees to the frisk search, which is conducted by a female officer. Officer Tara feels an inconsistency around the woman's waist and signals to a fellow officer that she may have found a sizable concealment.
The customs officer has felt something under her bra and in her underwear.
With a positive drug swab and now a possible concealment, officers suspect the elderly woman may be trying to smuggle something across the border, and their investigation needs to be stepped up.
We'll need to upgrade this now. Ma'am,
There's 4 chances on 4 cards. Nothing. No, 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 everywhere.
In Sydney, a family arriving from the Middle East has failed to declare any foodstuffs.
Yeah, so this is a food. You put it in your mouth. Yeah? If you're not sure, look. If unsure, say yes. There's a lot here. You need to declare it.
Anyway, I'm not upset. Thanks for you for next time. I know for next time.
It seems the passenger is starting to get the message, but it may be a little too late, as this item is of particular concern.
This one isn't allowed. It's not ground like this. And it's got the stems, you see? That can have all sorts of viruses and bacteria in it. This needs to be destroyed.
Officer Greg returns to examine the item.
So it's a tea, is it?
Yeah.
Do you buy this in the markets?
No, I
From the garden.
So you've taken this out of the garden?
Yeah.
You can't keep it.
The unidentified plant could harbour foreign pests and diseases, and the family may be facing a hefty penalty.
What they can do?
The point is the passengers haven't declared anything, and it's large quantities. And we just established whether or not there is going to be a penalty imposed or not. And that's what we're working at the moment. What would you classify this as?
I'm seeing oregano.
I would think it's herbs.
There does seem to be a slight language barrier, so Officer Susan tries to clarify the situation in Arabic.
What are you explaining to him now?
He's saying, oh, if you give me a chance for next time, then I would know.
With further explanation, the visitor has learned a valuable lesson about the importance of declaring all items correctly.
The officer conversed with the passenger in Arabic, and as a result of that conversation, we decided to give them a written warning, and that written warning is about education, and they were advised, both English and Arabic, that if they do that again, there could be heavy fines for failing to declare.
عم تفهم علي؟ Okay.
A Thai woman who's been living in Australia on a student visa for several years says she's returning from a short trip to Thailand, and now she's back to continue her studies.
Actually, she's had 2 English courses cancelled by the looks of it previously, and obviously this will be her 3rd attempt.
What we're trying to establish here is whether there's an ulterior motive
To being on shore.
to being on shore for employment purposes rather than education purposes.
Correct.
Officer Illicit continues the investigation.
So do you have sufficient funds today to enrol in a course?
อันนี้พี่ของสามีเขาอ่ะ
My husband brother, he's going to pay for me because I went to look after his father.
And does your husband work in Australia?
เขาทำนิดหน่อยค่ะ
He works 2 days a week in a restaurant.
Could you please just give me the contact details of your brother-in-law and your husband as well?
อ๋อได้ค่ะ
Yes, I can.
First, Officer Alicia will try to make contact with the woman's husband to verify her story. The woman's future in Australia may now rest on officers being able to contact him.
Call can't be connected.
And Officer Ross has just made a sudden discovery. Her husband is named as a dependent on her visa, so contacting him is now becoming a matter of urgency if they both wish to remain in the country.
We need to speak to him because if we cancel her visa, His visa's cancelled also.
Correct.
After a reaction from a detector dog and a positive result for a drug precursor, Australian Border Force officers have felt a possible concealment on the body of this elderly woman.
The other officer has felt something under her bra and in her underwear.
Inside her underwear.
And here and here. Well, she hasn't got an injury where she's got a bandage or anything.
Yeah, I mean, but I never not lining the cow. Her undies.
Her undies, and that's all. She hasn't got anything.
I mean, I did that. She said there's nothing else there.
But officers strongly suspect that there is something deliberately hidden under her clothing, and the woman's situation is becoming extremely serious.
So they're going to take her into a room and search her to see how much she conceals there.
It's now 11 o'clock. Yep, she's formally detained now for it's called a Category B2 search. We're going to search her body, okay? Just let her know that she'll be coming with us and we'll search her in that room. Okay, so just let her know.
Yeah, lâu ra cái vô anh tôi vào top nữa hay cái lock out trên mà.
Okay.
Explain to her that if she has anything there, just go in there and show what she's got.
Yeah.
So to make everything easier.
That's what's going to happen. We won't need to take her clothes right down and if she can present what she's got. Okay.
The passenger is led to a private room where female officers will conduct the external search. This Thai woman is attempting to re-enter Australia on a student visa, but officers suspect that her real reason for continuing to live here has nothing to do with her studies.
There's no evidence that this girl would engage in education purposes in a genuine manner.
Her husband's right to reside in Australia is dependent on her visa. But this may be short-lived if he cannot be contacted soon to verify that she is a legitimate student.
I'm unable to contact the husband still. I keep getting a no answer on his mobile.
A lot is riding on the phone call, as he may also be removed from the country if her visa is cancelled.
Call can't be connected, and I've called this at least 8 times now.
However, Officer Alicia has been able to contact the woman's brother-in-law to confirm that he intends to pay for her upcoming enrolment. But it turns out he's already given her the money.
He said that he gave her $700 to pay for the course herself, which is contradictory to what she has actually said, because she said that he was going to organise payment with the migration agent.
Officers are now confident that the woman hasn't been entirely truthful, and with the lack of evidence that she's enrolled to undertake any further study, it's more than likely that she will breach the conditions of her student visa.
So based upon all of the information available to me and your interview, a decision has been made to cancel your visa today. And so has your dependent, so your husband's visa has now been cancelled. I'm unable to get in contact with your husband, but I strongly suggest that you contact him to let him know of his immigration status, because he's currently unlawful in the community.
We have gone to extreme lengths to make contact with her husband, but we can't find the man. So we will now attempt to seek other methods of contact to inform him that his visa has been cancelled as a consequence to her visa cancellation.
Sydney Mail Centre, Australian Border Force officer Carly has noticed a very subtle sign that there could be a problem with the contents of this box from Brazil.
Can you come and have a look at this? I think that looks a bit weird.
Yeah, what's it declared as?
Designer chess set. It's just a bit uneven, like in the density of it?
Yeah, so you think it'll be all even the whole way through, but it looks a bit powderish.
The package is first opened by Australia Post and then taken to the tool room for inspection.
Man, it's heavy.
Without the packaging material to interfere with the X-ray, this scan should give a much better image to show how the board is constructed.
Look at this border around here. See, there's a gap between the frame and the inside.
Do you think maybe like it's been hollowed out?
Yeah, well, the board looks pretty solid, but you wouldn't have that gap there. It's like it's air or something. I reckon there's something in there.
The officers have no choice but to drill a hole through the chessboard and see if there is anything sinister lurking inside.
She's formally detained now for it's called a Category B2 search. We're going to search her body, okay? Just let her know that she'll be coming with us.
In Adelaide, an elderly woman is being taken to a private room for an external search, as officers have serious concerns that she is attempting to smuggle something across the border.
The customs officer has felt something under her bra and in her underwear.
Inside the room, the search is now complete, and it's confirmed that she does have a concealment. But despite the swab of her handbag testing positive for ephedrine, it's not narcotics that officers find.
Cash breach, yes, more than $10,000 in currency.
The woman had stuffed wads of $100 notes in her underwear. It amounts to more than $10,000, which should have been declared, and this is now a matter for the Australian Federal Police.
So if you could just let her know that the supervisor is contacting the police and they're going to come in here and talk to her.
If it's determined the money is the proceeds of crime or money laundering, it will be confiscated and the woman could face heavy fines or even imprisonment.
Hey, come around. Yeah,
it's been a good find for Detective Dog Gordo.
Good boy.
At the Sydney Mail Centre, what appears to be a solid timber chessboard from Brazil shows signs that it has a concealment hidden inside.
There it goes.
Through, is it?
It is very solid. Ah, there it goes.
Feel hollow, can you?
Yeah, it's like it hit some sort of a cavity in there.
You see the white powder on the drill bit there.
Yeah.
The powder will first be tested using the hazmat machine to identify the possible narcotic. And coming out of South America, it is expected to be cocaine.
Wow, Dave, look at that. Methylene dioxymethamphetamine, MDMA.
MDMA, yeah.
Yeah. You don't usually see it in white powdered form like
It's
that.
usually a brownie colour.
Yeah.
Usually more crystal.
As it is surprising to find this type of drug coming from Brazil, just to be sure, officers decide to confirm the result with specific MDMA test kits.
If it is in fact MDMA, this one should go black. There we go. That's exactly what we expected. And for this test to go a really bright blue colour. There we go. Which is, again is confirmed that it's MDMA or ecstasy, which is a really good seizure for us. We're expecting that it's about approximately 5 kilos of powdered MDMA. So we'll hand it over to the AFP and they'll investigate it further.
A dog has reacted to them. It was a narcotics dog, so that sparked a bit of interest for us to ask a few more questions. Okay, so a little bit of English.
A little.
Okay. So you're here for 1 year?
1 year.
1 year.
Yeah.
Where are you going here in Australia? You Brisbane, Melbourne, Brisbane?
Brisbane.
Family? Friends? Who's here?
Friends.
Friends.
Officers must now determine why the detector dog reacted, so the luggage of all 3 women will be inspected.
And this all your baggage? 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, you pack the bags?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what's in all the baggage?
As he opens the woman's suitcase, Officer Adam immediately locates a large number of packets which appear to be powdered drinks.
What are they for? For muscle?
No.
No, for... lose weight.
Border Force officers are aware that international drug syndicates often disguise narcotics as food products, and their suspicions are raised even further when the woman says they are not hers.
Are these for you?
This.
Not yours. This your bag, but this your bag.
Me and she.
Share.
Regardless of who owns them, the packets will be closely inspected to identify if they contain anything more sinister than the labels suggest. At Melbourne International Airport, Australian Border Force officers are about to interview a French citizen who has already spent 3 months in the country on a tourist visa and is now returning from a short trip away.
He's come from Bali. He's been in Bali for about a week. Prior to that, he was in Australia. He's returning down another tourist visa. And so I'm just going to speak to him today to see what his plans are in Australia, seeing he spent a lot of time here.
The man says he intends to spend a further 2 months here, and with no work rights on his tourist visa, Officer Belinda wants to know how he is financing his trip.
So the reason for this interview is to find out the purpose and details of your travel to Australia. I'll ask a number of questions that you must answer truthfully. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Okay. So what are your plans here for the next 2 months?
To stay with my girlfriend, first of all. To stay in Melbourne a bit, travel in Sydney also, because I know people in Sydney.
So what was your girlfriend's name?
Misha.
How much money do you have for your stay here in Australia?
In dollars, maybe 4,000.
Concerned the man may be supporting his travel by working here illegally, Officer Belinda suspends the interview to take a look at his mobile phone.
Okay.
And she immediately locates some incriminating text messages.
Woohoo, just got the confirmation of my visa. I'll be able to work with you again. And sorry, you'll have to stand me for another 2 months. That right there suggests that he is coming back to work in Australia.
Organic matter brought into Australia by international travellers can harbour pests and diseases which have the potential to destroy Australian agriculture. So biosecurity officers are always on high alert to stop any risks at the border.
A passenger arriving from the United States could possibly have fruit in his bag here. They're all quite round, maybe an apple.
Officers thoroughly investigate any items of concern.
You packed all your bags yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Sometimes they turn out to be a false alarm. Like this man, who explains that he's a professional juggler and what looked like apples on the X-ray image are actually his tools of trade.
Should I be practicing speaking Australian? I don't know any Australian words.
Except g'day. Wow, that's amazing. Thank you. Oh, very cool.
While officers continue to juggle the influx of passengers, another X-ray indicates that the luggage of this passenger from China may contain organic material.
Ma'am, do you have anything to declare? No. This one?
Officer Andrea begins a bag search and immediately finds something that could be a serious problem.
Okay, what is this one? What is this? I'm going to open one, okay? Oh, look at this. No good. This is a really high-risk item. Look.
Australian Border Force officers in Brisbane are searching the luggage of 3 women after a narcotics detector dog strongly reacted to them at the baggage carousel. And now officers are wondering if this large quantity of powdered drink packs are the reason why.
I'll put some of these with the X-ray and see if there's any inconsistencies. Yep. You can also weigh them.
Yeah, definitely.
The weight of each packet will be checked for any inconsistencies which could indicate they have been tampered with. Meanwhile, Officer Adam continues to search the rest of the woman's belongings.
Are you working in Australia or holiday?
Work and holiday.
Okay. Do you have cash? Money?
Money.
How much? 1,000, 2, 5?
2,000.
Okay.
Packets of drink powder have been weighed and x-rayed. Officers are satisfied they do not contain anything illegal. However, a swab taken from the lining of the woman's suitcase now indicates that their search is far from over. This young woman claims she is here on a 12-month working holiday along with her 2 friends. But Border Force officers have some doubts after a swab taken from the lining of her suitcase has returned a positive result for a narcotic.
So it could be they are carrying drugs on them, have come into contact with drugs recently, or were a drug user that does not have drugs on them.
Primary concern for officers is whether the woman is attempting to smuggle illicit drugs into the country. They have ruled out the packets of powdered drinks she is carrying, but a secondary swab is now taken from her personal belongings and her suitcase is x-rayed to check for concealments. The x-ray of the case is clear and the second swab test is negative. So far, there are no narcotic concealments. But Officer Adam now finds cigarettes hidden in the woman's bag.
Ah, right. Who are these for? Who are these for? You?
Together.
Together. Even together, still a lot.
Any more than 50 cigarettes must be declared so the duty can be paid.
Any more? No?
Woman says that's the lot. But over on the other bench, even more are discovered.
50.
Okay.
150. Okay.
If they want to keep them, they will have to pay hundreds of dollars in duty. But now, Officer Adam finds an item that definitely shouldn't be there.
Oh, look at this. No good.
A high-risk and undeclared item has just been found in the luggage of this passenger.
It's meat. Meat. It's chicken. It's chicken claw. Look. Look. It's feet. We have found some chicken feet here, which is a really high-risk item because chicken or poultry can bring in avian influenza or Newcastle's disease, so it's not permitted to come into the country.
Avian influenza is a major threat to Australia's poultry industry, as well as to human health. And these raw chicken feet are not the only dangerous food items found in her bags.
This one, meat, duck. Yeah, duck, yeah. Mayo. What's this one? More chicken. Ma'am, chicken. Chicken. Yeah, the same. No good. Jeanette, look at this chicken feet.
Oh, yeah.
The nails are still attached, everything's still attached to it. That one's definitely out. I think this is going to be the same.
Okay. This one does look like it's got something in it too. I'm just going to run a few things through.
As the collection of raw meat racks up, officers now make an even more disturbing discovery.
Oh, look. Oh, geez, this is just getting better and better. Look at this.
After travelling to Bali to renew his Australian tourist visa, this French passenger claims he is returning to spend another 2 months with his girlfriend who lives here. But text messages discovered on his mobile phone suggest he actually intends to work here illegally.
I found one here that has stated that he is coming back to Australia on a visa and he'll be able to work for another 2 months. And now I've just located a roster in his phone for what looks like a cafe.
And it appears he has returned just in time to get back to work.
It looks like he's supposed to go back to work in 2 days and he'll be working full time for 4 days. You know, on a tourist visa, that's not okay.
Officer Belinda will now confront the passenger with the evidence.
What's of concern to us is that we did locate the messages to say that you're going to be working back here in Australia, and you know you're on a tourist visa, correct?
Yeah.
You know that you're not allowed to work on that visa?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
The cafe was just for a few shifts because like just when he need me, he put me on the roster.
Well, the roster suggested that you're working Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah, next week he would have need me.
Yeah, okay. And this is where you were working previously?
Helped them before, yeah.
Okay. So were they paying you in cash previously, or were you paying tax?
No, I paid in cash.
Paying cash, okay.
With this admission, the passenger is immediately issued with a notice of intention to consider cancelling his tourist visa.
This visa does not allow visitors to enter the labour market or undertake work that might otherwise be undertaken by an Australian citizen, permanent resident, or the holder of a temporary work visa.
The young man now has 10 minutes to come up with a response that will allow him to re-enter the country and see his girlfriend again.
If he does have compassion or compelling reasons to be working here in Australia, then we take that into consideration, but we'll just have to see what he has to say.
This French citizen claims he is returning to Australia to see his girlfriend, but Border Force have issued him a notice of intention to consider cancelling his visa after they located incriminating text messages and a cafe work roster on his mobile phone.
We have to look at what your main purpose is for coming to Australia as a tourist, and if you're working full-time, well, it's kind of hard to be a tourist and work full-time at the same time.
The passenger now has a final opportunity to convince Officer Belinda why his visa should not be cancelled.
The main purpose of coming back in Australia under tourist visa was for visiting my girlfriend in Sydney. The fact that I received a message from a cafe putting me on the roster didn't prove I was going to work because it's something that I had to agree. So I didn't agree it yet. I haven't agreed, so it's not something that...
But you told me earlier that you were here to work at the cafe.
No, I said I came for visiting my girlfriend.
Yep, but I've got it right here.
No, I said that I helped him before and I could going to help him again, but I haven't replied that I was confirmed I was working there.
Even though there's the message that says, I've got my visa, I'm coming back to work for another 2 months.
Yeah, that was a joke.
Okay.
Taking work from Australian citizens is no laughing matter, and a final decision is made on the passenger's visa.
I was satisfied that the grounds for cancelling your visa outweighed the reasons for not cancelling it. As your visa has been cancelled, you're being refused immigration clearance. You'll be removed from Australia as an unlawful non-citizen.
Yeah, but like I wasn't going to work, really.
Okay. Well, I accept that you were actually going to work. I accept that you have a girlfriend here in Australia and you were going to visit her too, but I also accept that you were actually going to work here in Australia in breach of your visa conditions, and I lend more weight to that than I do you coming to visit a girlfriend.
Officer Belinda hopes this young passenger has learned a valuable lesson.
He is here to work full-time. He stated that that was just a joke. I don't think that was actually a joke. I think it was serious, considering there was a roster that came after that.
It's chicken claw.
Biosecurity officers are concerned by the potential risk to Australia from the undeclared and prohibited raw meats which they found hidden in the luggage of this woman arriving from China.
At this stage, it doesn't look like too good for her. It looks like she will be issued an infringement notice.
When it is explained to the passenger that an infringement notice means paying a fine, officers run into a problem.
She says she's got no money on her today.
But before the issue of payment can be resolved, officers uncover another shocking concealment.
Oh, who are this? Okay. Here. Oh, jeez, this is just getting better and better. Look at this. Look, Glenn.
That was in here, and it was like properly sealed. So I've cut it open. She hasn't declared.
Non-declared.
A large haul of cigarettes has been found stashed inside a sealed biscuit tin. And as the undeclared items continue to mount up, this woman may now be facing very serious consequences.
She says she's got no money on her today.
This woman claims she has no money to pay the fine she has just been issued. She then adds that her husband is waiting for her in the arrivals hall, so he is brought in to bail her out.
No, no good. And your wife, male.
No
Chinese,
English.
yeah, Chinese bar. Chinese.
First come to Australia.
It doesn't matter. It's in Chinese. And look.
Yeah.
No good. No.
Yeah.
This is not biscuits. Alright, so your wife today?
That's good.
Yeah, that is good. Okay. Okay, so your wife has to sign here. Yeah, your wife. Your wife.
Right?
Yeah. Wife.
China.
Yeah. She pay and no trouble, okay?
Yeah, maybe.
No trouble.
The prohibited items are confiscated to be destroyed, and the man agrees to pay the fine. But he must now choose the outcome for the undeclared cigarettes.
He's got two options in this. He can pay the tax and GST on this and take the cigarettes, which is a lot of money, or we could dispose it off. We put it in our bin. Okay. So what would you like to pay and take all the cigarettes?
He decides to pay the duty in order to keep the cigarettes, and having learned some very expensive lessons, the woman is now free to cross the border.
Bye-bye. See you later. Thank you, Shay. Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Australian Border Force officers have thoroughly searched the luggage of 3 passengers after a narcotics detector dog reacted to them on arrival.
So we haven't actually found any narcotics at this point. Maybe at one point the passenger has come into contact with drugs. However, we have started to uncover a lot of cigarettes, excess cigarettes, which have not been declared, and a small vial of what seems to be bear bile.
Bear bile is often used in Chinese medicine, but it cannot be brought into Australia without a permit.
Is this yours? This yours? Yours. Bear bile.
Used to treat stomach and liver ailments, bear bile is prohibited due to the cruel methods used to extract the liquid from the gallbladder of live bears.
Generally, the bear is kept in a cage, which is much smaller than the bear itself. It's a very cruel process in which the way they remove the bile, the animal is usually underfed, malnourished, and they'll extract it with a needle out of the liver until obviously the bear will die eventually.
It is an inhumane and disturbing find, and there is still the matter of the 1,000 undeclared cigarettes.
So today we've found the cigarettes on all of you, okay? And none of you have declared it like you should, okay? If you want to keep these items, you're looking at $660.
This country?
Yeah, Australian. If you don't want to pay that, you can abandon them and we destroy them. Okay? You're happy to destroy them? All right. Now this one here, this is bear bile. It's not allowed to cross the border here in Australia. And again, you haven't declared it, so we'll be seizing that from you today. We are taking that, okay? You don't have a choice in that one because you don't have permission.
The seized items will be destroyed, and with the exhaustive search complete, Australian Border Force officers are satisfied that the 3 women are not trafficking drugs. They're now free to begin their working holiday in Australia.
What we've done is we've separated them on the benches. We just want to determine their reason for their travel and conduct a thorough bag search on their luggage.
The couple make frequent trips to Vietnam, and officers are wondering how they finance their travel.
Your wife?
Yeah, my wife.
She working?
No, she follows.
Sorry?
She get a visit from
Vietnam?
Yeah, no,
from here.
The man says he is also on the pension.
Did you pay for the tickets?
Yeah.
Making frequent overseas trips on little income can sometimes be an indication that a passenger may be a drug mule. And Officer Chester wants to know a few more details about what the couple did while they were away.
So did you stay in a hotel the whole time you were there?
Stay at the hotel from far away from Saigon. About 140 feet, 140K.
Did you visit any of your family in Vietnam? No? What did you do while you were over there?
Drive in the car around, stay home, watching the TV, that's it.
They are not the usual holiday activities. And as Officer Chester continues to search the man's luggage, over on the other bench, an item is discovered in his wife's suitcase that sets alarm bells ringing.
What's this?
She is carrying a glass pipe commonly used for smoking methamphetamine or ice. International travellers arriving in Australia must be of good character. And Border Force officers need to be sure that they pose no threat to the community.
Have you ever had any trouble with the police?
If a passenger has a criminal conviction which results in a jail sentence of 12 months or more, they must declare it and be assessed at the border before they are allowed to enter the country. Today, in Melbourne, this Englishman is about to be interviewed after he declared criminal convictions on his incoming passenger card.
We're going to try to get the individual to discuss their past, to provide us with information regarding the convictions. We do need to get more information about their character and their history so that we can have an understanding of who we're potentially letting into the country.
The man is travelling on a tourist visa, and Officer Stathy also needs to establish what his plans are while he is here.
What's the purpose of your travel to Australia today, Robert?
My daughter had little about 4 or 5 weeks ago, and I've come to see my grandchild.
How do you intend to spend your time over the course of the next 6 weeks in Australia?
Just enjoying it with my daughter, going out for walks, swim, just spending precious time together, really.
Have you previously travelled to Australia?
Yeah.
How long did you remain in Australia during your previous trip?
I think it was about 3 years.
The man admits to Officer Stathy that he breached the conditions of his 6-month holiday visa on his last visit.
Why did you overstay your previous visa? Can you provide me with some more information with regards to that?
Well, it was when my daughter came over. She decided she was definitely going to stay here. So I made sure that I stayed on till she made friends and got settled in.
There are concerns the man may be planning to overstay his visa on this trip as well. But there is also the matter of his criminal past.
When you arrived at the airport earlier this morning, you declared on your incoming passenger card that you have had previous criminal convictions. Is that correct?
Yeah.
What criminal convictions do you have?
I held up a bank.
While searching the luggage of a couple returning home from Vietnam, Australian Border Force officers have discovered what they suspect is drug paraphernalia in the woman's luggage.
What's this? You don't know? You don't know what this is?
Maybe he buy for me, look, make flour or something.
Put a nice flour in it? Yeah, maybe.
She claims she thought it was a vase, but Border Force officers know it is a device commonly used for smoking methamphetamine or ice.
The detection of the glass pipe on them is a huge concern for us. It strongly indicates their involvement in drugs. What we need to do now is determine whether they are bringing any drugs with them across the border.
The woman denies using drugs, but over on the other bench, her husband is a little more forthcoming.
It's not like us.
Grass, as in
Yeah, just grass, just marijuana.
marijuana.
Yeah. But sometimes find we saw the case.
So you smoke
We don't
marijuana?
smoke,
Okay, but you both do?
Yeah, that's smoke.
He just said that they use it to smoke marijuana, both of them.
Yeah, it is.
Sometimes, yeah. Yeah, he just told me.
With his admission that they do use drugs, the search of the couple's belongings is stepped up, while the man is questioned further.
So the device over there that you were using, was that for marijuana, you said?
Yeah.
Looked like something that you would use for smoking ice.
Yeah, we just, I smoke sometimes, not all the time.
How regular?
You know, a friend of mine, she gave it to me, and then I bring here to show,
But why are you traveling with a device that would be used for smoking ice? Did you use overseas?
No.
You didn't use
Yeah,
overseas?
just sometimes, not all the time,
But you do use
I
ice?
do,
yeah?
but maybe one a week or something like that. But this one just show in the case, just for show, not using.
Yeah, because it's not a brand new one. It's not.
Yeah, that's a
something-
brand new one,
It's,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
a used one.
Yeah.
You have scratches on it, so it looks like it's been cleaned because of a recent use.
No. She gets, friend of mine, she gave to me from brand new, buy in the shop, But just for show, just for show.
We'll see about that. I'll come back to you shortly.
Yeah, no.
All right?
As they continue their search, officers are surprised to discover even more pipes concealed in the woman's luggage.
What's this?
Concerned over what else the couple might be hiding, officers will now ramp up the investigation. Today, in Brisbane, after a routine bag search, a passenger has just been caught trying to import some organic material that could pose a major threat to our environment.
She had only declared some dried fish to me, but one of the packages I opened had some seeds in there.
It seems more like a collection of seeds that includes some that are coloured pink.
And they're a type of corn seed. Some of these seeds, those ones there, they're okay. Those ones are not.
The pink coating is used to identify seeds that are not for consumption.
So they're obviously being brought in to grow.
The concealment could result in a prosecution, and Australian Border Force is called in to help. But the passenger's day is about to get a whole lot worse when someone notices that she has tried to offload some other suspicious material onto the ground.
I think she's become scared when we found the seeds, and then she's decided that these ones were going to be a problem as well, so she tried to hide them by dropping them out of a bag on the floor.
The items have been identified and are definitely prohibited.
There's a bulb of ginger, and it's got all the shoots and that on it here, so it's a viable piece of material which could be planted in that and bring disease into Australia, so that's a problem.
Woman will now be referred to Border Force officers for further questioning. But before she's escorted to an interview room, she makes another shocking mistake. Following a search of the luggage belonging to this couple returning from Vietnam, Australian Border Force officers have discovered drug paraphernalia in the woman's suitcase.
One with a bottle tube, and then 3 straight pipes.
Her husband has admitted they do smoke marijuana and ice, and Australian Border Force officers need to be sure they are not attempting to bring any illegal substances back into the country.
What do you use this for?
Shampoo.
Just shampoo?
Her bag is x-rayed and a swab is taken from some of her personal belongings to check for any traces of narcotics.
Looks clear, everything looks consistent.
The x-ray is clear and the swab test result is negative. Officers are now satisfied the couple are not attempting to import narcotics, but the woman is not free to go just yet.
Right now, you cross the border coming from overseas into Australia. These are prohibited imports. These are drug paraphernalias. These are going to be seized. Inclusive of that you're going to be issued a fine for having in possession of these items crossing the border into Australia. Understand? You're gonna pay for a fine on this one today because they're regulated items. Yeah, these are drug. $380.
200.
380.
380.
Yep. So you're gonna be issued a fine today.
I don't know. I have got money. What can I do? What can I do? But I said, you know, my husband, you do that. My bed, I must to pay. But I have got money.
Miss Nguyen, it doesn't matter who you claim these are for or who owns them. They were found in your possession.
Not mine.
Come back here in front. Come back here. You're not gonna pay for them?
No, I'm not pay.
That's fine. You're gonna go to court for them? That's fine.
Not pay.
The prohibited items are seized and the couple issued with a $380 fine, which they are told they are required to pay by the due date or they will be summoned to court.
What criminal convictions do you have?
I held up a bank.
This man has travelled from England to visit his family and meet his 5-week-old granddaughter. But Australian Border Force officers have serious concerns about his criminal past.
How many years imprisonment were you sentenced to?
4.
How many years imprisonment did you serve?
I reckon about 3.5.
When did these convictions occur?
78 maybe.
Subsequent to this conviction, have you had any other criminal convictions?
No.
Have you ever appeared before a judge or magistrate since this?
No.
Although it was almost 40 years ago, it's a serious crime, and records indicate that the man lied about it on his incoming passenger card on his last visit to Australia.
We do have a copy of your previous incoming passenger card, Mr. Craig, and you did declare that you don't have any criminal convictions when you last entered Australia.
I said I didn't.
You said you didn't.
Okay, I can't remember.
Can you tell me why you provided false information upon this entry?
I can't remember that now, but I would imagine to hopefully get in and spend some time here, knowing that criminal convictions usually get stopped.
Interview suspended at 10:56 hours.
His admission of deliberately providing false information on his previous visit may be enough for Border Force officers to stop this man from entering the country to meet his granddaughter. In Brisbane, biosecurity officers have found more living plant material that this woman has tried to hide by discarding it under her baggage trolley.
We just had a bit more research on the ground. The lady seems to have dropped some plant cuttings which could be grown. They've got shoots on them and everything, so they're viable material, and again some more seeds. So we'll leave Customs to have a look at it and see what happens.
Before Australian Border Force officers take the woman to an interview room, a biosecurity detector dog will be run past her to make sure she has no other hidden organic material. The detector dog has no reaction, and she is given the all clear and can now be taken to the interview room, where she gives her reason for carrying the prohibited material.
Well, she said a number of things that her mother or brother may have put it in the suitcase. But it's quite unusual in the fact that those items were in her pocket. So we're just trying to ascertain how they actually got there and who actually did put them in there.
Seeds and plant material are handed back to biosecurity officers for identification.
After we do all the identification of the plant material here, it will go to our scientific section and they'll do up a risk assessment to say what risk these seeds and cuttings could cause to the Australian environment.
The interview is now completed and the woman has finally admitted that she tried to dump the plants.
The reason she said that she actually put them on the floor, and she did admit that, was that she didn't want to get in trouble because she knew that they weren't allowed.
Now, with all the evidence collected, the woman is free to leave. However, she may soon be contacted if she faces prosecution. This man has travelled all the way from England to meet his 5-week-old granddaughter. But he has a criminal past that is concerning Border Force officers.
I've just consulted with the passenger and they have informed me that they do have criminal convictions dated 1978 and they were sentenced to a 4-year imprisonment sentence and have stated that they haven't had any issues with the authorities since these convictions.
As his case is carefully considered, the passenger reveals his emotional motive.
I mean, I'd never put a foot wrong. I'm not into that sort of thing at all, but I couldn't support my family at the time. I was playing footy and got a bad injury and was too ashamed to ask for help off anybody. And one day my partner come up the path with 4 bottles of milk that she'd pinched, and I felt that ashamed. I said, well, that's it, you're not gonna do that again. And off I went, robbed a bank. At the time, obviously being emotionally a bit knackered in the head, and you do daft things, but that's well gone. That's the one and only thing I've done wrong, and I paid the price for it.
But for Border Force officers, there is also a more recent issue. The man has admitted that he lied about his criminal conviction on his previous visit to Australia to gain entry into the country, and then remained here without a valid visa.
And he confirmed that he stayed for 3 years because he wanted to spend more time with his daughter.
A decision is made, and Officer Stathi takes the next step.
I'm now going to present you with a notice of intention to consider the cancellation of your visa.
This anxious new grandfather is hoping Australian Border Force officers will allow him to enter Australia to see his family. But there are many factors they need to consider.
On one hand, he has a grandchild that he has never held, a grandchild that was born 5 weeks ago, and 2 daughters who have been residing in Australia for 12 years. On another hand, he has a serious criminal conviction for which he has spent a period of 3.5 years in prison. But he also has a history of non-compliance with Australian immigration laws.
He has been issued with a notice of intention to consider cancelling his visa and is given a chance to plead his case.
I'd just like to say that, look, what happened there was 40 blooming years ago. I don't see why I should be having to pay for that now. And this is just a family thing. I just want to get up, see my daughter, my children, and my grandchildren. I want to hold my grandchild for the first time. That's why I'm here. And that's really all I can say.
After carefully considering all the facts, a final decision is made.
I am satisfied that there are grounds for visa cancellation under section 1161B. Your visa has been cancelled or you're currently detained under section 1891 of the Migration Act. Do you have any questions at this moment of time, sir?
I can't believe it. I think it's a bloody disgrace, that sort of thing. Is this Australian justice for it? Something that I've done 40 blooming years ago. And I'm paying for it. All I want to see is me blooming children. How would you feel if you travelled halfway around the world and denied access to your own children, your grandchild that you've never seen? That's all I want to do. I'm not on any other bloody mission. Bloody hell. Honest to God.
This is a copy of your notification of decision, sir.
Well, thanks. It's been a pleasure.
It's not an easy decision, but for Officer Stathy, it is a well-considered one.
It is a very emotional environment that we're operating in, but we're also operating within the law, the Australian law. And at times those decisions are very difficult, but they are always legally sound.
Basically, he went for a holiday. He's had a change of ticketing, so he's come back early. He has items in his bag that could be a risk to our border. There's some of the indicators we're looking at that he possibly could have a narcotic.
So I'm going to conduct a baggage examination.
Yep.
These are all your bags?
Of mine.
Did you pack the bags yourself?
Yes.
Yep. So you know what's inside the bags?
I should do this.
You should, or you
I
do?
should. I should. 100%. Yes.
Okay. What was the purpose of your
I've been
travelling?
living with family.
Family?
Yeah, I've been there for over 30 years.
30 years? Okay. 30 years is a long time.
It's been a while.
So what did you get up to in Vietnam?
Nothing much. Boring.
Boring? So are you married?
Yes, I am.
And children?
2 kids.
Yes, they didn't travel with you to
No.
visit? No? Okay. What do you do for work?
Bus driver.
Bus driver? How much do you earn as a bus driver?
About 1,000.
1,000 a week?
About.
So that's enough to support you and your family?
For now.
For now?
Having already declared that he knows 100% of the contents of his luggage, the man now asks a surprising question.
Can I ask you a question? What's in that bag?
You tell me what's in the bag, do you know?
I don't know.
Do you know what's in the bag? I asked you before. Is it a food
didn't
item?
ask me. I thought it was some kind of noodles. Kind of
Noodles?
thing, yeah.
Where did you get them from?
My auntie gave it to me to give it to my auntie over here.
Your auntie over
So I
here.
wouldn't know what they are.
And she told you it was noodles?
Yeah, I thought it's just noodles.
As officers examine the 2 items which the man claims to be noodles, it appears that he is not telling them the truth.
It's really heavy. Oh, that one you think? Can you feel that? His behaviour is just really consistent with someone who's bringing something back.
Just got to establish what that is.
Is it something serious?
I'm not too sure yet. We'll have to conduct some tests.
At this stage, there could be something in the food parcels themselves, but until we do further testing, we're not going to know.
A swab is now taken from the suspicious package to test for traces of illicit substances. Biosecurity detector dogs help intercept thousands of high-risk items each year, which potentially harbour dangerous diseases and harmful pests.
Whoa! You didn't notice all the ants on the fish when you come here to Australia? No?
A detector dog's sense of smell is thousands of times greater than that of a human, making them highly effective at locating organic matter.
Come on.
Today, in Sydney, detector dog Axel is about to go on duty. He will be screening the luggage of incoming passengers, including these travellers arriving from China. If Axel detects a target scent, he will stop and sit.
Yes.
Now the woman's luggage will need to be thoroughly inspected.
Bring your trolley with me, please. Come this way. The dog has smelt something in the bag. We're not sure what it is. So the dog handler has asked me to run it through the X-ray, and I can see organic images on the X-ray already. This item here, I would say it's a food item. I'm not sure what it is, but once I'll open the bag up, I'll know what it is.
The woman is travelling with her son, and they have both declared that they are not carrying any food or other organic matter.
Okay, I need to ask you some questions. Are these your bags?
Yes,
Do you have anything else to declare at all?
I know.
Okay.
But on opening the bags, it's confirmed that detector dog Axel was correct.
This food. You must say yes to food.
And the passengers have made a false declaration, which could incur a sizable penalty.
When he asked you the questions about any food, you said you understand, yeah? So this is food. Why did you say no?
A swab test taken from items belonging to this man returning from Vietnam has failed to show traces of illicit substances. But officers still hold concerns that the man has something to hide.
Have you ever had any trouble with narcotics or been in any trouble with the police? He's a little bit fidgety. His answers and responses aren't what we would like to hear. He's not confident. It could be this or it could be that, I'm not sure. So they're all reasons for us to look a little bit further. You told the officer that these are not your noodles.
Yes, that's right, that's not mine.
And who did the noodles belong to?
This one, I was gonna give it to my auntie on my wife's side, okay? The person that gave it to me is...
Who is the person that gave it to you?
It's her brother.
Okay, you obviously trust the brother to be bringing in...
Wow. You see, because I wouldn't expect anything. I mean, like, he will ask you to bring, can you give this to her because it's family thing, and I thought it's food. So I thought...
Well, I hope you can trust your family members.
Well, if they're not, if you find something serious in there, my wife would be very upset.
Criminal syndicates have been known to prey on unsuspecting family members, using them to act as drug couriers.
What sort of noodles are they?
I wouldn't know.
So you're bringing in things from overseas and you don't even know what they are?
It's family. So
okay, they're in your possession. And you said you brought them out?
Yes, that's true. It is in my possession and all that, but I didn't know what they are.
Do you know how many times this happens to people standing like you are in this position? People have given them items of food.
Yeah.
And it turns out there's something in it. So at this stage, the officer's going to, unfortunately, she's going to go through all your sealed packages to make sure there's nothing in there, okay? I might just x-ray one of each. Do you want this one? Yep.
Officer Stella will now x-ray the suspect packages. If they're noodles, as the passenger claims, they will appear orange. But narcotics are a more dense type of organic matter and will appear green.
It's supposed to be noodles. Why is it green?
Thanks to the help of detector dog Axel, biosecurity officers have located undeclared food in the luggage of this woman from China.
This food. You must say yes to food.
And it's not just food that is being discovered, but what appears to be a bag full of wood chips.
It's an unidentified plant material, and because there's no label, it's not commercially packed. And it's got a bit of weeds in it, so it's contaminated.
And that is not the only concern.
We actually found a insect crawling on the bag, and we will send it off to our entomology lab to get further tested and to see, identify what type of insect we have. This goes to show why it's a very big risk to Australia, because it introduces exotic pests and disease.
And suspicions are raised further as more undeclared items are discovered to be stashed in some odd places.
Okay, anything inside here? This item concealed inside the kettle. There is a lot of organic material in there, lots of freshly cooked food items, and I'm a bit concerned as to why they would conceal this in their bags, but inside other containers.
With the officers suspecting that the passengers are deliberately hiding items, attention is turned to a black and white jacket that the mother was trying to avoid having inspected.
The passenger was reluctant for us to have a look at this jacket.
And close analysis of the X-ray indicates that there may be a further concealment of hidden goods.
Obviously, she must be hiding something in there, so we want to see what it is inside.
Each year, millions of overseas packages arrive at Australia's international mail centres. While most deliveries are legitimate, there are others that are cleverly used to smuggle a wide range of illegal items into the country.
There's definitely a concealment in there, yeah, you can feel it.
And although some concealments are extremely sophisticated,
we can see there's something shining in the weave in the fabric here.
Looks like we've got an alarm for cocaine.
other attempts are very basic.
So I'd expect to see body wash inside here, but immediately I can see some kind of package.
Today in Brisbane, Officer Warren is about to X-ray a parcel arriving from the USA, which has been referred to him for secondary inspection.
I can see why they referred this. There's a little bit of an anomaly in the middle of the package. Different colour, different texture to everything else that's around it. So we'll just open it up and have a further look and see what we can find in there. It's like a present for someone. There we go. Teenage Ninja Turtle Deluxe set. It's come out of Las Vegas in the United States. It's just like a child's toy set full of textures, pencils. I can feel a little bit of a lump here under the pad. So we'll just have a look at what's under there. And there it is. That's what we would have seen on the X-ray, hidden in underneath. It's just a foil packet. I can feel crystals inside the foil packet. I'll take that into the deconstruction room, have a look at what we've got and do some testing on it.
In Sydney, this woman has been caught smuggling in an item of major biosecurity concern.
This is bird's nest. I had a suspicion looking at the X-ray that it was bird's nest.
Edible bird's nest is made from the spit of a small bird and is considered a delicacy in Chinese cuisine, fetching up to $3,000 per kilogram. But its importation into Australia is strictly prohibited.
It's a deliberate concealment.
It definitely concealed. They didn't want us to find it.
That's right. It's a high risk coming into the country.
You know, we've had bird's nest, avianza, flu, not that long ago. This is what we're protecting our bird industry, our poultry industry. So bird's nest is the definite out.
And the situation becomes even more serious as yet another high-risk prohibited item is found to be concealed in the jacket.
Not only do they have bird's nest, we've got these cordyceps, which are probably straight out of a market area.
Cordyceps are a parasitic fungus used in Chinese medicine to improve sexual drive and virility.
And this poses a risk because of the bacteria contained in the item.
We've got some more bird's nest, which was also concealed in one of the bags over here, inside the clothing. And lying at the bottom of the bag under all the clothing, it's a whole fish. The heads are still on, the internal organs are intact. There's probably maggots crawling in and out of this right now.
Prohibited and infested items like these present enormous biological risks, which is why the penalties for their importation can be severe.
The thing that I'm worried about is that these items can be prosecuted. They can be prosecuted and it could go into the thousands of dollars. I have a hard decision to make right now, whether to fine them or to prosecute them.
And there it is.
Australian Border Force suspect that a silver package discovered taped to the underside of a child's drawing set contains a large amount of dangerous narcotics.
Now I will take this. I will weigh this and see what we've got here, how many grams we're talking about. Yeah, quite a lot there, looking at 64.7 grams. Here we have it, some beige crystals. I'm sure it's not a kid's toy. I'd hate to be trying to control the kid that's playing with that one.
A swab of the packet will help to determine if the substance is as deadly as it looks.
Right, there you go, it's methamphetamine. So you never know what you get. Based on the iron scan reading and the look of the product, we'll be referring this to the AFP.
This passenger returning from Vietnam has admitted to carrying unknown food items over the border for a family member.
I thought it was some kind of noodles. Thing, yeah.
X-rays normally show food items as orange-coloured, but when his package is scanned, there is a clear problem, as it's definitely not what he thinks it is.
It's supposed to be noodles. Why is it green? There's the rest of his food, which is quite consistent of food being orange, but why do you reckon it could be green?
Doesn't quite look like noodles.
Doesn't look like noodles, does it?
No.
Okay, these items of food look okay on the X-ray. Unfortunately, these do not.
Telling me the test.
It doesn't look normal. You've got an opportunity to let us. Do you want to tell us anything about these items?
No, as I said, I don't know what they are. I thought it was food given to me by someone.
By someone. You keep saying by someone.
Uncle.
By someone, it's telling me.
It means that it's not personally to me.
Why would you accept something?
It's a family. Yeah, obviously it's not look good. I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because this is so ridiculous that if it comes out something which I'm honestly don't know anything about it.
As far as I'm concerned, that was your suitcase, your box. You told the officer you pack your bags yourself. You know what's inside.
I know what's inside, but I don't know what they are. It's a family thing. How could they do anything to me? So that's the only reason why I
can. Again, have you ever had any problems with the police? Have you ever dealt with narcotics? Have you taken narcotics in the past? Because we have some concerns, I'm going to caution you now that you do not have to say or do anything. Anything you say or do may be held in evidence. Okay? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So I'm now going to take these and have them further tested, okay?
More tests?
More tests, okay?
Secondary testing will now be conducted to confirm what exactly is contained in these highly suspicious parcels. Border Force officers suspect that packages in this man's possession may be concealing an illicit substance. Extensive secondary testing to determine what that substance is has now been completed.
Okay.
All good?
Fortunately for you today, it is good.
So what was it?
And you are
guys.
you are actually very lucky because somebody was able to identify this. It's actually seaweed.
Seaweed. Oh.
And it's heavily coated with salt. And that's what's giving the green appearance on our X-ray.
Okay.
Now, the confusion set in when you told quarantine officers, I'm carrying noodles.
Yeah. Fair enough.
You understand?
I didn't.
You didn't know what you were carrying.
They are, yeah.
Now, what would you have done if I said that's full of heroin? And I could have come back and said that because you had no idea what was in your bag.
My heart would fall out, for sure, because...
You now wouldn't be going out to see your wife or your children. you'd be going to Mascot Police Station.
Well, thank you.
So for today, all the best. Thank you for your patience. And please be careful.
I still learned that lesson. I'm not gonna, in future, it's not gonna happen again.
Okay.
Take things. That's not right.
Man is now free to keep his seaweed and cross the border, having learnt a valuable lesson.
Thanks, guys.
They had the bird's nest hidden inside the bags.
Right.
And inside the pockets as well.
This mother and son, arriving from China, have been caught with a large amount of high-risk items deliberately concealed in their belongings.
The main concern for us is our agricultural industry in Australia, and having travelled before, they know the rules.
The passengers are now facing a large fine, even prosecution.
It's quite clear to me that you can actually speak English and you and I can communicate. So tell me, why did you not declare any of these food items on this card?
I don't know if this one.
Well, you have whole fish. You have bird's nest. This bird's nest was hidden inside your jacket. Why did you hide it inside the jacket?
I don't know what doing in the jacket.
Yeah. No, it's not okay. It's not okay. You're going to be fined $340 for not declaring these items. My colleague and I have discussed it. You're lucky you're not going to be prosecuted. The consequences can be much more than $340. That could be thousands, even imprisonment. Do you understand?
Yes.
What you did today was very wrong.
Okay.
With their exotic goods being confiscated, along with the cost of their fine, it's an expensive lesson for this mother and son.
The passenger was fidgety, he's sweaty, he's very nervous, which for us is a concern.
Experienced officers know that this type of behaviour often occurs when someone is attempting to carry drugs across the border.
Have you been in trouble with the police before?
Yeah.
Yeah? What for?
Something violent, something for the marijuana.
Marijuana? What with the marijuana? You growing? Selling?
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
10 years ago.
10 years ago?
Yeah.
Did you go to jail?
Yeah.
How long for?
2 years.
2 years?
Yeah.
And since then?
No.
So that was the last time you've been in trouble?
Yeah.
Because I'm going to go and check now. I need to know that you've been honest.
Sorry?
I'm going to go and check now. I need to know that you've been honest.
Up to you. You want check, you go to check. Don't worry. I still waiting you.
You're still waiting me?
You go check.
I'll go check.
Officers are able to verify that the man has no additional convictions and will now proceed to inspect his luggage. A swab is taken from some items, including tea packets, to test for prohibited substances.
I'm only just going to see if there's anything of customs or immigration interest, okay?
A young Malaysian man arriving on a tourist visa has been taken aside by Australian Border Force officers as there is a concern that he may be trying to enter the country under false pretenses.
You're just travelling by yourself today?
Yes.
Yep. Your first time here?
Yep.
A search of the passenger's belongings will help in assessing if his claims are true, that he is here for just 1 week's holiday.
How long have you been in Australia for? 1 week?
A week.
Yep.
For refresh myself.
Okay.
While the bag search is completed, Officer Tim consults with his supervisor, who has already found some concerning text messages on the man's mobile, which are from an acquaintance back in Malaysia.
There's some very interesting information that we have extracted from the phone. Bosco, his friend, sends him a message last Friday. So Bosco asks him, where you go? He says, go Australia, work. Wow, you serious, eh? And it goes on, can't see you...
At least a few years.
At least a few years. And this is very incriminating, that He has told Bosco that he's going overseas, going to Australia, because he can't find a job and he won't be back for a few years.
Yeah.
I think he needs to come up with something fairly clever to get him dig his way out of there.
Yeah.
Armed with this information, Officer Tim will begin a formal interview, and he starts by asking Ken about his tourism plans.
What can you tell me about Sydney? What was it that you'd like to do or see in Australia?
Actually, it's my friend over here, so I thought just come here and then walk around and then don't want to think too much in the travel.
This particular friend, who are they?
It's called Sun Lee.
How do you know Sun?
Long time ago, she owed me money.
Okay, all right. So, are you looking to collect this money on the trip?
If can.
Okay. I've found some information which does not support your reason for coming here to Australia being solely for tourism purposes, okay? Are you looking for job opportunities here in Australia?
Do you use drugs, mate?
Huh?
Do you use drugs?
No.
No? You saw the drug swab I had? It's come up for heroin.
Where?
Of these.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Yeah.
Well, it came up for heroin. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to break a couple open. We're going to have a look, all right?
Yeah, of course. You want to break it. You want to break everywhere, everything.
A search of the man's bags fails to uncover any concealed drugs. That doesn't explain why the swab tested positive.
When was the last time you used drugs?
You drug?
Yeah.
No, not you.
Never?
Yeah. No, I use, but not yesterday. Not time.
How long time?
I don't know. Couple of weeks.
1 week?
2 months, 2 years before. I don't know.
The man has admitted to taking narcotics, but claims to not know when he last used. Officers are now concerned that he may be carrying drugs on his body and will conduct a frisk search.
Do you consent to the search? Do you agree to having the search done? Do you want it done here or in a private room?
Up to you.
You have to tell me which one you want.
Up to you. You want here, inside.
You are the one that tells me here or in the room? In the room? Okay. This officer will go in the room, okay?
While the passenger is searched, another alert is raised, which quickly turns officers' attention to a second passenger who is also returning from Vietnam on the same flight.
Iron scan tests of his luggage come back with strong readings for heroin.
Today in Melbourne, Border Force officers are taking a suspicious package of beauty products to the air cargo workshop for further inspection.
Okay, so can you tell me a little bit more about this one? Where's it from?
This is air freight from Hong Kong.
Oh, okay.
Declared as face cleanser, so I think we need to x-ray this one.
Yeah.
The X-ray image reveals 8 individual containers inside the box.
The image seems fairly consistent with bottles, but the densities vary quite a lot, which is quite unusual.
That's unusual that it's lighter there and then quite dense in the middle there. So.
I think we need to do some further testing.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Let's open her up.
Once open, officers immediately notice something unusual about the contents.
So I got a receipt.
It's $1,824.
H2O. It's so really they're paying $1,800 for water, which seems very suspicious.
An inspection of the bottles does little to allay their suspicions.
Oh, that doesn't look right already.
That looks inconsistent straight away. There even appears to be some crystallization occurring in this bottle.
Yeah, this one here, water wouldn't have crystals like that in there.
He's very nervous at the moment. Iron scan tests of his luggage come back with strong readings for heroin.
A frisk search conducted on the first passenger has shown he is not carrying drugs on his body. Officers now want to know if the two men are connected and whether they are attempting to smuggle drugs across the border.
check if he's travelling with anyone, because we think he might be travelling with this guy. Yeah, I'll have a look.
This guy's got previous drug convictions, and we're getting heroin readings.
This guy's got heroin readings as well.
2 men from the same flight with the same drug reading is an unlikely coincidence. So Officer Tim confirms the connection.
Do you know him?
Of course, I know him.
How do you know him?
We are friends.
How long?
Long time.
Long time?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I need to ask you a question.
Yeah.
We get heroin readings off your bag, yeah?
Huh?
We swabbed your bag, we get readings for heroin. So when you were in Vietnam, did you use heroin?
No.
I want you to think about the answer, all right? It doesn't matter to me if you've been overseas and you've used.
Yeah, I know.
That's cool. I need to know that.
Yeah, but no.
But no?
Yeah.
What about your friend, Doe?
I don't know him.
You don't know him?
Yeah, because we go there, but he do, I don't know. But none of my business.
You travel with him?
Yeah.
Both men deny any contact with heroin, but the truth comes out when officers make an alarming find.
During the examination, we located a syringe in the pocket of one of his trousers. When we asked him what it was for, he said it was for heroin. Following up with that, he said he was a regular user and that he had trouble with the police before, and that he'd been using it in Vietnam.
Officers now step up the investigation of both men.
Have you swallowed any heroin today?
Suspecting the crystals may be narcotics suspended in the liquid, a Border Force detector dog unit is called in.
As Alton, find it.
The dog immediately sits.
Good boy.
With suspicion that the liquid is likely to contain illegal substances, it is taken to be tested with presumptive detection technology, which will help identify what kind of narcotic they are dealing with.
And here we go. Amphetamine.
That's what we want.
Exactly.
So we suspect that this water actually contains amphetamines. However, it is just presumptive testing, and we can't be certain until forensic testing has been done.
A second narcotic test will be carried out to confirm that amphetamines are present in the water.
So with this test, we expect it to turn blue. Pop her in.
Oh, that's great. Dark blue colour. That's definitely meth in there. Good result.
Where you go. Your response is, go Australia, work. You serious? I said I will always be behind you, support you, but I'm leaving. Yes, next week. Promise me, please take care of yourself. Okay. When you come back, after 5 years. And then the response is, so long. The contact on your phone is identified as Bosco. How do you know Bosco?
Actually, Bosco owed me money. I tried to asking to return money, and then he say no money, and then busy, and then I just lied to him. I will go to Sydney for a few years, and then ask him bring return money for me.
Why would they return the money to you if you're going to Australia?
Because I just text to him, okay, I'm go to overseas, and then I don't have any income. So I just hope him return the money for my family members.
You wrote you wish to stay in Australia for a number of years.
Because I don't want to explain too much for him, so I just keep a life for him.
It's hardly a convincing explanation, but Officer Tim is willing to investigate further and establish if Ken has any commitments to return to back in Malaysia.
What is your occupation? What do you do for a living?
Shop manager. Shop.
Okay. If we contacted someone from your company, would they confirm that you are still an employee?
Sure.
Yeah?
Ken provides the details of his employer in Malaysia, and as the calls are made to investigate further, he appears to become nervous.
They do have a number of indicators that suggest they fit the profile for drug couriers. So we're just going to use our body scan machine just to make sure that they haven't got anything concealed inside them.
Plenty of time to do your bag later and just read this for me, please. You're going to ask why you're out?
The passengers are now asked for consent to be subjected to an internal scan of their bodies. This will allow Border Force officers to determine whether they are attempting to smuggle drugs internally across the border.
If you're happy for us to do the search, you sign and date it, okay?
The body scan is just an X-ray inside the stomach. We use it as a tool to identify if the person has, swallowed any drugs.
The scanned image is sent for a doctor's interpretation.
Pretty much everything through both of their bags was positive for heroin. So until we get the confirmation from the hospital, the passengers are still under detention and they will have to wait until we get a final result.
The thorough examination is now complete and officers are satisfied with the outcome.
So we've got the results now and they're negative for any concealment. We've got a negative result as the passenger is now free to go.
Now, we've had a conversation with our colleague who's made 2 phone calls to employees of the company that he claims to be currently employed with. Both of those people have confirmed that he resigned on the 31st of March, which is different to what he has explained to you during the course of the interview.
But when Officer Tim confronts the passenger that he no longer has a job in Malaysia, he quickly changes his story, saying he now has a new job starting in a different country.
Actually, I found a job in Singapore. So I think before I go back to Singapore work, okay, I just come out for travel.
Can you verify that? Can you show me something that says that you intend to work in Singapore? Because officers who have inspected both your mobile phone device and this device have not found anything suggesting work in Singapore.
I don't have, because I just made a call to my boss and then my boss said just come back and work only.
Just a conversation?
Yeah, just make a call and say, okay, just go back to work, like that only.
No text messages, no emails, nothing?
No.
It's yet another unlikely story. And with the real possibility that Ken will overstay his visa and possibly work illegally, Officer Tim makes a decision.
After weighing up all the information available to me, I was satisfied that the grounds for cancelling your visa outweigh the reasons for not cancelling. Your visa has been cancelled. You are refused immigration clearance. You will also be detained and removed from Australia as an unlawful non-citizen.
Okay. So that means...
We need to make sure that persons crossing our border are here for the right reasons.